All right, team, we are live. If you're watching on the replay, thank you so much for being here. As always, drop a comment, say hashtag replay, and let me know where you are listening from. Last time on the podcast, we had somebody in Shetland, we had somebody in the Shetland Islands in the north of Scotland, all the way to Florida, and I think South Africa too. So we are getting people all over. So it's amazing when you're watching on the replay to let us know where you are from. Now, this is going to be a quick episode, so I am going to just get this party started now as people start to come in live. Also, drop a comment and let us know where you're from, where you're listening. I'm going to get this party started, folks. Let's do this. Hey, you are listening to the Funnels and Growth Show. My name is Gavin Bell, and I've discovered a little bit of a problem. You see, too many entrepreneurs are great at what they do, but they never see true growth. All too often, they rely on luck, hustle, and hope to grow, which, as you probably know, ain't the best marketing strategy. So in this show, I aim to uncover the secrets around creating a marketing system that allows you to build your audience, generate more leads, and acquire customers at a profit. Now, on today's show, I've got somebody I've wanted to have on the show for a long time now. You know, this person was the lead funnel builder at ClickFunnels. He built over 500 funnels for them and the man himself, Russell Brunson. After his time at ClickFunnels, he set out on his own and his very own 2 Comma Club, which, by the way, is making over $1 million from one funnel just 13 months later. He's an expert when it comes to publishing content, making offers, creating funnels that convert like hotcakes. All things that we like to geek out on here. So, team, I hope you're ready to go absolutely wild as you are pouring the kettle, as you're doing the dishes, as you're driving, whatever you are doing. Go crazy as I introduce Steve Larsen to the Funnels and Growth Show. Steve, it is a pleasure to have you here. Welcome. You're currently muted, Steve. I think you're muted on your end. I can see you, but I can't hear you. I still can't hear you. Let me see if I can go on to my feed. Still can't. Everybody that's watching live, can you hear Steve? Drop a comment, let me know. So I can't hear you on live. I'm checking on my phone. So it says you are muted on StreamYard. If you maybe try unmute.
Is that better?
There we go. There we go.
I can hear you. Friendly fire. There we go.
Nice. Nice to have you, Steve.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Sorry about that.
No problem at all. Tech issues happen all the time. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here, dude. It's I've been excited to have you on the show. I've been following you a long time, and I know that over the next 20 minutes or so, knowledge bombs will be dropped for the people that are listening. So I'm super excited about this.
Yeah, I'm pumped. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna get started straight into the serious question, Steve, which is, I know you're a ukulele. So I want to ask, if you could go on stage with any band and rip the most incredible ukulele solo, who would it be?
It'd probably be with Audio Slave. It'd be a different sound for them, but it'd be super killer.
Audio Slave. I have not heard of Audio Slave. I'm gonna have to do some research.
Oh yeah, it'd be good.
Brilliant, amazing, Steve. When we work with a lot of clients, we run ads. They come to us, they say, we want to run some ads. The first thing that I'm always looking at is, okay, what are we running ads to? You know, what's the offer? You know, a dentist, a chiropractor, whatever it might be, comes, they say, we want to run ads. We don't ever touch their ads until they've got the offer locked down. And so I want to ask you, being the man that is, you know, knows how to create an offer that people actually want, what is some of the things that you look at for creating that initial offer? So we're talking when somebody first sees you, your brand, your offer, what are you looking at, or what are you trying to create in that initial offer?
Yeah, when you create an offer, first of all, there's a major difference between a product and an offer. And in my funnel and launch system, building a product and building an offer are two separate steps. And so the first step is, do you have a sexy product? It's actually much easier to make an amazing offer if you have an amazing product. An offer is really one of the first things a marketer's role begins with. You're still kind of acting as an entrepreneur, not a marketer, when you make a product. And so let me explain what I mean. Like ClickFunnels itself, right? I'll bring it up because probably everyone here knows that about ClickFunnels. But ClickFunnels is the product. It's way easy to make a sexy offer when the product is awesome. And so what Russell did is once they had the amazing core product, ClickFunnels, they turned it into an offer by adding usefulness. Offer creation is just a function of what's useful. And so if I am looking at, let's say I'm Steve Jobs and I got the iPhone or whatever, right? I'm going to sit back and ask myself, hey, how can I increase the usefulness of this product? And by answering that, that's how we turn a product to an offer. So I might say, you know what? People are just not going to know how to use this iPhone. Remember the first time we picked up an iPhone? I mean, probably every single one of us was asking ourselves, how do you make a call? Right? Just the most basic function of a phone. There was an education gap. And he's like, don't worry about it. We got these genius bars all over the place so you can ask whatever questions you want and we're going to educate the market for you. Oh man, I got to go buy a new set of headphones. Don't worry about it. It comes with a set of headphones that are white, plugs right in the bottom right there. Right. And by answering those questions, how do I make my product more useful? That's really one of the easiest kind of rinse and repeat ways to kind of make a product into an offer. You think about there's price, cost, and value, right? Price is what I charge. Cost is how much it costs me to get the lead and sell them and fulfill. But what is value? Right? Value is, sometimes we think value and price are the same. They're really not. Value is usefulness. It's utility. And so, I know that people are understandably a little bit nervous about what's going on in the marketplace. They're nervous about it. There's a lot of stuff, but really all someone has to do right now to survive what's going on is increase their usefulness or increase their value. That doesn't mean you got to add cost. That doesn't mean you have to you literally can just go help more people in more ways with your existing product and have a sexier offer. So it's kind of a nerdy answer there, but that's really how it works. I look at the product that I create and I'm like, is this awesome on its own? If it's not, I wouldn't try to make an offer yet. When I know that it's awesome though, I just start listing out anything that could make it more useful, or if I could solve any additional problems around it. And once I've done that, it's the most natural way to turn something into an amazing offer.
I love that analogy about the Genius Bar.
Yeah.
The iPhone, the Genius Bar is an add-on, makes it more useful. So, yeah. And I love this question. I love the question of asking yourself, how can I make this more useful? Because I feel that there's probably a tendency, especially if you are like funnel hacking, you look at somebody's funnel, you go, Steve's got this funnel, he's got an event. Okay, cool. Then he's got this add-on, he's got this bonus, which is, adding the value. But it makes them go in their head, okay, all I need to do is add on some stuff. And I'll take this thing, I'll take this thing, and I'll add it together. But if you ask yourself the question, is this making it more useful? Then it completely changes the game in terms of, how you structure that offer and how you lay different things onto the offer.
Totally, because it makes you realize if you're making it useful for you, not the customer. And that is one of the biggest mistakes someone makes is they're like, I've got this useful thing, but it's useful for the entrepreneur, not necessarily the marketplace. Since you're not the one buying it, it doesn't really matter if you think it's useful or not.
It's such a good point. Like, I don't have to do any more work. I can add on this thing. That's great for me.
Yeah.
But do the customers actually want it? So how long do you spend time-wise coming up with an offer? Does that vary, or do you have a set, like I'll sit down half a day coming up with this new thing and we're going to hammer it out in half a day?
There's 12 phases of my funnel build and launch, system that I personally use in-house and also teach. And offer creation doesn't happen till like step 6 or 7. I mean, it's way down there. There's a lot of stuff that I got to make sure I have in place before I even start thinking of an offer. So I bring this up because there's really 3 different hats you learn to wear in this game. The first is a business owner. And a business owner is in the business of systems. I mean, a CEO is in the business of systems. I'm going to build and tweak systems. It's funny, in college, pretty much, I don't know, there was almost like they taught that business was a little bit woo-woo. They're like, don't offend the soul of the business. And it's like, that's garbage. A business is just a series of systems that gets a lead, sells some of them, and fulfills. That's it. It's a set of systems. And so if you are brand new and you have no systems, like, don't call yourself a CEO. You're a CEO of nothing, right? The CEO controls and manages systems. So a lot of the next hat that a lot of us will wear, and that's the one that we start with, a lot of us, which is understandable, is the hat of entrepreneur. All right. So I always laugh when you go on like LinkedIn and it says, I'm the president, CEO, founder, co-founder, VIP, like president of the board, blah, 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 blah. It's all this crap. And a lot of times people have no idea. Those are different roles, right? Don't call yourself a CEO if you're really not. To entrepreneur something, what is an entrepreneur in the business of? An entrepreneur is in the business of identifying and solving a valuable problem. That's it. And they don't really get paid, right? There's a lot of broke entrepreneurs out there with an amazing solution, which is why you wear the third hat. The third hat is the hat of a marketer. And a marketer is in the business of delivering a solution to a market. And so a marketer, right? They're the one running in with the banner, they're the one making the noise. And so, just more to answer your question, like what I really do, how long does it take me to come up with a cool offer? I mean, honestly, it's back on hat number 3. So I got to go back to hat number 1. Can my business systems even support another offer well? Okay, let's go through the entrepreneur phase. And the entrepreneur phase is hardcore trying to fix a valuable problem. You're going to get paid in this life according to the types of problems you solve, right? The best businesses out there solve a legitimate issue. So I could solve the problem of how to put groceries in a bag. Doesn't pay much because it's not a valuable problem. And so you want to make more, solve more, So it's hard to say how long it takes me to come up with an offer, because like where I am now, it's pretty fast. But at the beginning, I would have just loved for something to work. You just don't know for a while. You're in a hustle phase, and that's totally fine. Hustle phase is very normal, and I would have just been stoked for anything to work. But the longer I have spent making an offer just more useful and more sexy, the easier it is to sell it. The marketing doesn't have to be quite as airtight.
The reason I asked that question is because there was a Facebook group I'm in, and I'm running a session for this group, and they asked the question of, what are your biggest problems when it comes to creating a funnel? And the thing that seemed to come up was like, I don't know where to start, and I know I should have a funnel, but I don't know if I have like the time to do it. And it just always seems to be this thing of people, like, I'll just throw out a lead magnet, or I'll just throw out a funnel. I'll just throw out something. They don't spend any time sitting down thinking about it and just asking those questions that you talked about there of, what's going to be useful for people. And I love this idea of putting on the different hats, starting with a CEO hat, then going to the entrepreneur hat, then going to the marketing hat. I think that really it brings that idea to life, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So the people that are listening at home, they're like, okay, cool. I understand how to start thinking about an offer. When it comes to like getting the offer out there into the world, do you have a testing phase? And if so, how do you test it? Is there, when you've thought of an offer there, you've come up with the idea, you're like, I think this is going to work. I think this is useful. How do you then get proof of that?
I honestly, when I was in college, they would always say in my entrepreneurship classes, they're like, you got to go test concept before you can go really bring it to the marketplace. And I'm at a spot where my belief is not so much that. It's more like I'm just actually going to go try and sell it, and just take it to people. There is a phase though where I'm asking people if they think it's cool. One of my favorite teachers actually taught us a creativity manufacturing process. It's really fascinating. He's like, even if you're not creative at all, this is some of the best ways to come up with creative solutions. And it's from a company called IDEO. And IDEO is the company Steve Jobs went to invent the mouse. They create rocket fuselages. It's actually the reason your toothbrush is shaped the way it is. IDEO is involved in so much design, but they don't know anything about technology. They don't know anything about rockets. They don't know anything about teeth. It's literally a process that manufactures creativity. And he taught it to us when we were in college. And it's basically this 5-step part that, I mean, I still use it today, and it's part of my offer creation model. But you get to this spot where you have to stop emotionally being tied to the thing you've made so that you can hand it to someone else, some kind of prototype. And he would yell at us, this professor would, if we hand it to someone else and we were looking at the thing. He's like, you have to look at the person's eyes. And because when you hand it to them and they make any kind of like, like, what is that? Or he wants to go, wait, what is that? Why did you do that? I need to know what just came in your head, the first shock value that you got from that. And what he basically taught us to do was a series of feedback loops that we would get from our dream customer. And essentially the market, after a while, starts to build your thing for you. You know, it's not like the market knew to ask Russell for ClickFunnels, or the market knew to ask Henry Ford for the car. But after the main concept is there and you're trying to make your offer more sexy, getting it as fast as you can in front of legitimate buyers, which I like to do just by trying to sell, not, and then getting their feedback. And I tell you, man, refunds are a blessing. People who aren't necessarily happy, that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing, because it's a chance for you to hear and be like, what did you love? What did you hate? How come that was good? How come that was bad? And after a while, like once you have proof of concept, it's the same kind of thing. We wouldn't have known to ask Steve Jobs for the iPhone. But once he had the main core idea, getting it in front of people, the market tends to tell you how it wants to be sold. And so the game is less about being this genius, and it's more about being a detective. And when I realized that, the game got a lot more playable.
Yeah, doing the work, and I think playable is a great term. Like having fun with the work that you're doing, offers out into the world. And something I really like about what you do, and tell me if this is you doing it in action, is you'll just do a Facebook Live, 40-minute Facebook Live, mapping out a funnel, building a funnel. I think you did it for your event that's coming up, where you were like, here's my event funnel, here's the thing. Is that you doing part of that process of getting out there into the world, or is that you just having fun?
100%. That's totally part of it. It's actually built into my funnel building system. There's a spot where it says, okay, now go make a teaser post on social media. And so there's also another phase of it where I'm like, okay, now it's time to make a teaser podcast episode. Now it's time to, and I'm basically warming the ground before it's even available, before it's ready to launch. And similar to how Hollywood does with a product or movie, they warm the ground. They tell everyone it's coming. They tell everyone, hey, then they send the actors on tour. They watch it with all the Tonight shows and all the, it's same principle. I don't want people to hear about it at the moment it's ready for them to buy. I want them to hear about it way before it's ready to buy. And it's one of the biggest secrets to making internet successful.
Yeah, I like that. So let's talk about the podcast then. You're well known in the ClickFunnels space for being somebody that publishes. And I actually had a lot of fun. I like to do a lot of prep on my guests before they come on the show. And I went right back to the beginning of your Instagram, looking at the first post on your Instagram, which I think were like 150 weeks ago or something like that. And it's been so cool to see your journey over that's 3 years or so. And the journey that you spoke of before you started posting. But publishing is a massive part of what you do. Publishing your the lives that we spoke about on Facebook, your podcast. So where does that play a part in the brand of Steve Larsen? And also, how does that play a part in driving people into your funnels and your offers?
It's a great question. It's interesting, back in like World War II times, whole nations were being controlled by the press, whole nations being, and not, being led astray, straight propaganda. And what people have to understand is that whoever controls story controls belief. And so it is, man, there is room to be a dirtbag and an unethical slime ball with what I'm about to say. But if I can control story, I can control belief. And we buy products because we believe emotionally. It's not a logical thing at all. Purchasing is very emotional, not, and then we justify logically typically afterwards. But I want to tell story, and I want to tell story that's breaking and rebuilding beliefs. And that's not a joke. You're actually breaking and rebuilding beliefs for somebody. And so there's times people totally take advantage of that. So I'm telling everyone right now as they listen or watch, like, don't be a dirtbag because it catches up with you. But the role that publishing plays for me is it allows me to test stories and observe people's reactions before I choose to put that story in a sales message. It also is a platform for me to test material before I stand on a stage and deliver it. It's one of the secret weapons. It's one of the reasons why I could lose my entire list. I could lose everything. I could start literally from scratch, and I would be told, like, it's okay. It's like a parachute and a safety net at the same time for your business. If you choose to publish, it's like, I don't know what it does, but it puts you in this new stratosphere, and you're not so much, of course, you're recognized a little bit more by people who follow and listen, but you also are recognized by other influencers very quickly. So it opens doors for you like crazy. I know I would not have as much as a safety net when I left my job as I did if I had not been publishing prior to leaving. It's a big deal. So what I do is I like to test lots of stories, the ones that gets the reactions. I try to weave them into my sales messages. I test podcast material. In fact, my latest show, the whole entire show, I actually started it with the simple purpose of practicing my content before I put it on a stage, because I had never taught that stuff before. So any major time I put out like a core offer, something that's going to be there and around for a long time, I always start a parallel show that will help me continue to refine. And frankly, any ads company that I work with, if they ask, like, the best ones always ask me if I'm publishing, because it sends more material to the thing with a Facebook ad than just, straight to the page.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, as an ads guy, it's absolutely crucial. And I think what it does is it builds an enormous amount of trust, which is, whether that's with influencers or whether that's with potential customers, which is the game we're all in.
What's funny, people choose to not publish, but they want to play on the internet and make money from it. It's like, what is the internet? It's a series of servers, but what's being passed? Content. So it's crazy. It'd be like saying, I'm going to go be a race car driver, but not ever be in the business of trying to find out where I get gas. It's like, you're playing the content game.
Totally, man. Totally. Steve, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. It's been 22 minutes of just straight fire gold.
Fun,
so let everybody know where they can listen to the podcast, learn more about your offers, more about what you do and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Right now I've been geeking out pretty hardcore on just strategies that cash flow offers. So I've kind of touted as the offer guy for quite a while. But I've been getting more into teaching how to cash flow the offer once you have it. I've noticed that most people's offers are good enough to make money. That's not why they don't make money. They don't make money because they don't know what to do with it once they have it. And so you can find out more at offerlaunchpad.com. My podcast is called Launch for Profit. And appreciate it.
Yeah, go check it out, guys. Steve's podcast is one of the very few that I listen to on a regular basis. It's just filled with really good stuff. So if you enjoyed this episode, you'll enjoy all Steve's stuff. Steve, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for coming on again.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Gavin. It's been great. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. That is a podcast done. There is a ton of comments coming in live. People absolutely loving this. So yeah, if you're tuned in live or you're watching the replay, thanks so much for being here. As always, go check out Steve's stuff, and I'll see you all very, very soon.
See you guys.